Hey, brothers and sisters, you've often heard me say that a lot of things that go on in this country that are against us, we don't hear about in the media. Now, I like to think of myself being pretty savvy when it comes down to going on the net and coming across stories, but every now and then I miss one. Well, I came across this story, and that was put out the other day. Black teen beaten by Jewish brothers breaks down on stand. Baltimore, the teenager who authorities said was beaten in a neighborhood watch case in Baltimore that drew comparisons with the Trayvon Martin shooting, refused to testify from the witness stand on Wednesday, prompted a judge to ultimately excuse him. It's not yet clear the loss of the key witness will affect the prosecution case. Brothers, I ain't gonna try to pronounce their name, who are Jewish and white, are accused of beating the black teen while patrolling for Orthodox Jewish Neighborhood Watch Group on November 19, 2010. Their bench trial opened Wednesday on charge of second-degree assault, false imprisonment, and carrying a deadly weapon. The victim, now 16, cried as he mumbled responses to some of the Assistant State's Attorney Kevin Wiggins' questions. The teen testified he was walking to a bus stop from his grandmother's home to go to a doctor's appointment that day. He said he didn't make the appointment because two men in a red car approached him, looked at him the wrong way, and told him he was not supposed to be there. At times, the teen did not answer and would bend over and put his head in his lap. WBFF TV showed video of the teen being carried back into the courthouse after lunch break. In the afternoon, his response was even less audible and eventually stood up while attorneys approached Judge Pamela White bench for a conference. I don't want to testify, he said. I want to drop charges. White explained that the state brought the charges and it was not his decision to drop them. Wiggins asked Wiggins asked the teen if the reason he didn't want to testify was because he lied or that the incident didn't happen. The teen said he just didn't want to testify. After talking the situation over with the teen, the judge excused him. The defense objected to playing the recording of a teen's 911 call after the teen was excused because the defendants would be unable to confront the accuser. The judge denied their motion and listened to the call in which the teen tells the operator he's been cracked on the head with a walkie-talkie and was bleeding. The teen was taken to the hospital with a cut on the back of his head and broken wrist, according to the court documents. A day earlier, the brothers withdrew a motion to move the trial because a comparison to the Martin case would make it hard for them to get a fair trial. They opted for a bench trial, saying they believe a judge could conduct a fair trial. In the Florida case, authorities charged Neighborhood Watch volunteer George Zimmerman this month with second-degree murder in Martin's death, February 26. Zimmerman claimed self-defense, but Martin family claimed he targeted an unarmed teenager maybe because the teen was black. Zimmerman's father is white and his mother is Hispanic. Like, who gives a fuck? In an open statement Wednesday, Wiggins told the judge that after two men in the car stared at him and told he didn't belong there, the teen, then 15, armed himself with a board as the car left. When the car returned, Wiggins said the teen dropped the board before these guys' name grabbed him and hit him in the head with a radio. As the teen reached in his pocket for a cell phone, Wiggins said a third person who arrived in the van stepped on his hand. Other members of the group watch, Sharon of Baltimore, showed up as the brothers left before the police arrived and then returned, he said. Sometimes I think people see things through their own glasses. Andrew Apperstein, attorney for, one of these guys, told the judge in open statements. Apperstein said his 24-year-old client, a pre-law student at Johns Hopkins University, was the newest Sharon member volunteer in his community, doing what he called a mavisa or a good deed. The attorney said the man acted in self-defense. There was two encounters between the teen and his client, Asper said. In the first, whoever his name is, told the teen to move on, and the teen responded with expletives and referred to religion. As he left, whoever the name is, saw the teen break out a piece of wood pallet with nails and attach it to begin pace back and forth, and he returned to try to defuse the situation, according to the lawyer. That doesn't make sense. If I was intended to be assaulted, it would have happened in round one, he said. Susan Green, attorney for the 21-year-old, a pre-med student at the University of Maryland, Baltimore, who is not a Sharon member, said she would raise questions about the identification of her client. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This should have made national news. But what get me is this little boy, 16 years old. He was 15 when it happened. More than likely, doesn't have a strong adult figure in his life, or they getting harassed in the community. Because if he's walking from his grandmother's house and these people pulled up, obviously they probably live in a predominantly Jewish neighborhood. And we've heard cases over the years where Jewish men and women have hunted down and have harmed and beat the crap out of black people, or even killed black people. But you know what? This doesn't shock me by this not being national news, because then people will start asking about comparisons. Now think about it. Zimmerman, his daddy is Jewish, right? But they keep saying his mother is Hispanic. But they keep forgetting his daddy is Jewish. Didn't Zimmerman's dad go to a Fox affiliate in Florida? Didn't he go on Sean Hannity? Didn't his brother go to Piers Morgan? Didn't Zimmerman get in contact with Sean Hannity? Think about how the white Jewish people act towards black people. It's a documentary, I can't remember the name of it, but this Jewish documentarian went to the ADL, and he went to the Jewish community, and it was one of these, like, they policed the community in New York, some part of New York, and this young guy made a reference about black people being violent or something. I wish I could remember the name. I know on my old channel I did a video commentary on it, and I'm had to look through my videos and pull it out, because one day I just give it to you, put it out there. But anyways, this didn't make national news because, as I said before, there's been cases where men and women who are Jewish have lied and said they've been victims of hate crimes, when they come to find out they're the ones who perpetrated the hate crimes. I'm going to bleed this young kid, because I'm going to tell you why. You pull up to a bus stop and say you don't belong here, that means you have a racial motive, okay? He's at a bus stop. He's waiting for a bus. And if they probably said something to him, the kid picked up, and he probably feared for his life. Just as I would have done the same thing. But they come back around again? Why would you do that? Why not let the kid go on about his own business? Or if you thought he was up to no good, why not call the police? Nah, what they did, like they always do, they get another person, and they come back and they want to hide, and they want to jump and want to attack. This kid hand didn't mysteriously break itself. He didn't mysteriously get gashes on his head or get beat down. He called 911, and the state felt there was enough evidence to take these bastards to court. See, this is why I tell our brothers and sisters who we need to be looking out for and watching out for. Here it is. They claim to be the biggest victims on the planet, but yet they do more dirt than anybody. That's not being anti-Jewish. That's just observations. I remember when I was in grammar school how teachers who were Jewish would say and make insults to us. Because they knew at that time parents didn't challenge what the teachers said a lot. Here it is, you have Gene Simmons of KISS, a Jewish man, making comments about Michael Jackson, saying he's a pedophile, when a brother ain't never been charged with anything. Brother been dead going on 3 years with all these victims that he supposedly had. Wouldn't this be the time for him to come out and start saying Michael Jackson did something? Eric Cantor, also Jewish from Virginia, went and denounced the Tea Party when they was talking about President Obama or the birthers. Dr. Laura Schlesinger, a black woman, called into her show and said to her husband and his friends and family and making jokes and using the word nigger. Instead of Dr. Laura giving her advice how to confront her husband or talk to him, she turned around blaming it on the black community, black men. How many times have we turned on the TV and our Jewish counterparts have said and done things? Look how Roman Polanski raped a then 13, 14-year-old girl back in the 70s. And when he finally got arrested, didn't Harvey Weinstein come out and say they're going out because he's Jewish? Wait a minute. You forget the fact that he did admit that he had sex and had anal sex with a 13, 14-year-old baby at that time. But yet, to this day, we still get R. Kelly jokes. For a group of people who say they've been the victims of the most vicious hatred on the planet, they sure like to aid and do certain things. In the 80s, it was cases of Jewish men and women doing these things. And here in the Chicagoland area, you have some have lied and said they was victims of hate crimes. And then the media, they gloss over that. Remember the day Michael Jackson died? It was a raid. They found out that Jewish rabbis and them was trafficking human organs. But because Michael Jackson's death, the media, they helped cover it up. But yet, anytime one of us point out his hypocrisy with them, we're called Hitler, or we're called anti-Jewish, or we're called reverse racist. How many times have black kids gone to a Jewish community and just fucked with Jewish people? I ain't never heard of it. But yet, yet if we going to take care of business or move into a quote unquote Jewish neighborhood or by ourselves, they jump us. They say things. Who do you think the Republicans are mostly made up of now? What's his name? Breitbart, Jewish. His minions, they're Jewish. They sit on TV and spread lies about Acorn and the black community, and nobody. But yet, if you point this shit out, you're called anti-Jewish. And I ask those people in the Jewish community who have good heart, of good conscience, why don't they point this shit out and call them out like they want us to call our people out, which we do? But yet the extra, why didn't this story make national headlines? But it goes back to tell you what, I forget the guy who wrote the article. He said that the Jewish community runs the media. You just can't deny that stuff, because this should have made national news. Then they talking about because of the Trayvon Martin, we may want to get a fair shake. No, you beat this kid down. Now, this is why I get mad at our brothers and sisters when we turn our anger and frustration on each other. Here's, you got people shooting us, beating us, denying us basic rights, but yet we want to disrespect each other. And that poor kid, I'm telling you, either somebody got to him or he's scared or he's traumatized. And they talk about, well, one is pre-med, one is pre-law. I don't give a fuck. A criminal is a criminal. Brothers and sisters, we better snap out of. We need to hold certain groups of people accountable. Here it is. Every day we hear about what happened during World War II, and I'm not saying that we should not acknowledge or feel sorry or sympathy or remember that part of our painful history, because it is a part of world history. But millions upon 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 millions, I can go on forever with this, of blacks are murdered. Now, I know people are going to say, well, black people do harm. Yeah, white people do harm to white people too. But I ain't never heard nobody say white on white crime. But a lot of the shit that we do is because of racism. And I'm going to tell you something. These men, or people who think like them, I should say, because I'm not going to say all Jewish people think like that. But these men have a mindset that they're superior. Look how Netanyahu disrespected President Obama last summer. He pointed to him and talked to the president like a little kid. And then the Congress and Senate gave this bastard a standing ovation. And notice all the wars in this country. And I know people say that's anti-Semitism or you being anti-Jewish, but let's be honest. Why do we go to war with Iraq? Why are everybody pushing war with Iran? Why do they want to go after blacks in leadership? Why do you have certain celebrities of a certain ethnic background or religious faith out here smearing our people? Why is it every time a black person, even seen Mr. Farrakhan, somebody from the ADL comes out and want to tell us, oh, you shouldn't let him speak? We don't tell you who to speak to. But yet the extra, why wasn't this story a national news headline?